Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves.
Welcome back to Near Mint Condition, where today we are taking a first look at the Flash, the Human Thunderbolt, DC Finest trade paperback. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. And welcome back, everybody. I am Domovex, and today we are going to be taking a closer look at the Flash, the Human Thunderbolt DC Finest trade paperback, published, of course, by DC Comics. This is the fifth installment of the DC Finest trade paperback line, and the first in the Flash comic book line. I would assume that we are eventually going to get Jay Garrick and Wally West and even Bart Allen at some point in time. But nonetheless, this is what we do have. This is the front of the cover. Of course, the iconic Carmine Infantino cover to showcase issue number 4. Here is a side view alongside its counterpart, Batman. Of course, you have the years there being different, but that is how it would look like next to it on a bookshelf. Here is a look at the back. Meet Barry Allen, the fastest man alive, with the timeline highlighted from 1956 to 1961. And speaking of those issues, this does collect issues 4, 8, 13 through 14, and Flash 105 to 123. This is going to retail, of course, at $39.99, which is the starting point for these DC Finest books at 600 pages of content. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at DC Finest, the Flash, the Human Thunderbolt. This is, of course, the iconic cover to issue number 4 of Showcase in the 50s, and another issue of Showcase, issue number 13, if my mind serves correctly. Jay Garrick, created by Gardner Fox. Of course, Carmine Infantino, Robert Kanigher, and Joe Kubert as the legendary cover artists. Here is a look to the left side of the copyright information and whatnot. Julius Schwartz and Whitney Ellsworth as the original series editors. If you take a look at the right, we do have the table of contents. This is another one of those where it is telling you, hey, these were created and then all written by John Broome, with stories and covers penciled by Carmine Infantino and inked by Joe Giella, unless otherwise noted. And it is all in table order from Showcase up until Flash 123. Some of these have backup stories. A lot of Silver Age comics had backup stories, so you are getting the full treat here. Just as long as Flash is prominent and featured in them, they will be included in this. What can I say? What can I say? How can I start this off? To emphasize how big Julius Schwartz was back in the 1950s for DC, I think would have been an understatement. A lot of people look to him and as one of the saviors of DC Comics. I do believe he is one of the saviors of comics, period. I don't think we would be talking about any of these stories if it weren't for him. And also the simplicity of the origin story of Barry Allen too, where some stories nowadays, I remember talking to my local comic book store owner about this when I worked at the comic shop, and he made a very compelling case for Stan Lee did in one page what Brian Michael Bendis did in 7, and that was, of course, the origin story comparing Amazing Fantasy number 15 to the 7-issue arc of Ultimate Spider-Man Learning Curve. And I do think it presents a very interesting issue as to what do we believe is the best type of decompression. Our story is decompressed. Page numbers at the bottom, I guess I should say in an ad. But I think the novelty of this and why this has been a really, really quick read for me and a very enjoyable read for me as well. John Broome is a really great writer, but I think it is supplemented by the dynamic pencils of Carmine Infantino. The whooshes, the speedsters, the zooming through thin air. This guy who can run really fast at breakneck speeds and stop crime while he has a life. He is trying to figure out what he is as a police detective. But to go back to what I was saying earlier, I really do not believe that we have a DC Comics, a comics industry for Julius Schwartz. The innovation that he had to say, we need to be able to put Flash in a better context than Jay Garrick, who is running wild in a nuclear war type, or possibility of a nuclear war type landscape, with him in pants and the feathers on his helmet. Let's transfer all that to a bodysuit. Let's transfer that to wings on his head so he can run faster. And let's do it in a way which he actually looks like if something were to go down, he is prepared. Barry Allen is absolutely prepared in all of these issues. And to see him do that for Flash and for Green Lantern, and to say that it was life-saving is an understatement. People love this series. People wanted to see more of what Barry was doing and why he was so unique as far as he was concerned in comparison to the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick. And not only the simplicity, I guess I would say the stories, I don't want to call it simple, but the nice thing about this era of DC Comics, or this particular era of Flash for DC Comics, is me experiencing for the first time Barry Allen in a world that he is the front and center of without all the other characters that we've seen before. Barry Allen's return to DC Comics has been a heated debate for the last 16 years of his publication, sidelining Wally West, and for those who haven't read Crisis on Infinite Earths, I do think there is some leeway as far as the conversation is in that is concerned. But the one thing that I will always appreciate about this Flash, about Barry Allen, is the world that was built specifically for the Flash mythos. Gorilla Grodd, Captain Boomerang, Captain Cold. These characters have withstood the test of time. Mirror Master, characters that I now see, and I'm reading John's Flash, and I'm like, man, it would be so cool to get Barry Allen to fight all of these guys. But I don't think Jeff Johns writes any of these stories if it weren't for Julius Schwartz, if it weren't for John Broome, if it weren't for Carmine Infantino, if it weren't for those fellas who stood ground on the mythos of, man, this is going to be something that breaks the mold, we would have never had it. And of course it took, I know that for a lot of people, and for me especially, I always look to Mark Waid's Flash as the template for, this is how you not only revitalize a character and put him front and center, but this is how you change a franchise for the better. But there is just so much Silver Age inspiration that all of these runs have built towards. And on top of that, they're fun caper stories. Some of these are Flash has to stop a robber, but he does it in an interesting way. And he has to deal with, oh, I gotta run and zoom fast, but I gotta finish up this detective case. And I have to go talk with Iris and tell her, oh, this really isn't what I was doing. So you have that nice Silver Age slice of life-ish drama type of genre where you get to see Barry and Iris like figure out what's going on, but then you have some of the fun stories of he's zooming fast, he's got to save this guy, he's got to stop Gorilla Grodd, another character who does show up and eventually does become someone big and legendary in his own right as far as the Rogues Gallery is concerned. So it's not only a nice trinket of history, I do think that there is a lot of stories that are so for their time, and now seeing it for our time. It is something to behold, and something that I really wish that I got a hold of when I was younger and very, very strictly against reading Silver Age comics. This was the book that sort of broke my propensity. This was the book that Well, right as of now, because I do appreciate Justice League of America, but this was so much easier to enjoy and love as far as the content in this is concerned. One thing I will also note about these issues. One thing I will also note about these issues, besides, of course, the stellar art, stellar writing, stellar covers, is that these issues also have fun facts. So when I was a kid, I was very much into the universe. I wanted to be the first Filipino to go on the moon. And then when I talked with some people, I quickly changed my career goals, and now I want to do something in the engineering / coding field. I love these Flash facts. These are facts that are always scientifically related to whatever Flash was doing at the time. I know that he has I run fast. Well, what else in the universe and the solar system in the world runs fast, runs on a basis that the Flash can? And if I had these as a kid, I'm telling you guys, this is something that I would have eaten every single bit of it. And even now, it reminds me of when I was a kid reading the DK Universe books, the solar system fun facts, the planet fun facts, the animal fun facts in the weird animal nonfiction books that I got from the library. It's so interesting to see how this was integrated into DC Comics. In fact, I wish that they do that now. Cy Spurrier is currently writing Flash, and the guy has such a breadth of knowledge of novels and just overall information. I'd like to see this come back. So I might do something or text. But yes, this is one I think where everybody absolutely has to, if they need to get a DC Finest on top of getting a Batman Year 1, Year 2, or the Superman Golden Age, or if you don't have the Gail Simone omnibus and want to save some money, I think that this is definitely a must get to. They chose right with the era of Flash that they're introducing to old and new readers. For people who are jumping on, or people who might be questioning, should I get this Flash book? I think with the way that is not only a snapshot of time and history, but the beautiness of the characters that were involved in this, the type of storytelling, and the zooming art of Carmine Infantino, I think it's impossible for somebody not to pick this book up. But I will also say, for again those wondering, Flash of Two Worlds is in here. Yes, that is the iconic cover to Flash 123 with Jay and Barry. Fun stuff. And one of my favorite Flash stories of all time. Granted, I think I have a billion Flash stories that I love for, all time, but this is such a fun treat. If you guys are considering picking this up, I would definitely, if you are on the fence of saying, I don't know if I should pick up this DC Finest, I would. If you don't have the Silver Age omnibuses, absolutely. And that, as they say, is that. Now, if you're looking to buy Flash DC Finest, you can check out our sponsors.
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. BD Cosmos, the Canadian leader in graphic novels. They have a physical storefront in Montreal, Quebec, and their website, bdcosmos.com, offers 25% off your order of over $99 or more, and free shipping everywhere in Canada for every order of $200 or more.
Their shipping care is exceptional. Your books will stay cozy through the rough Canadian weather and arrive to you in Near Mint Condition.
After checkout, let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way, and you'll be added to the monthly $25 gift card raffle. Entries are valid for new and returning customers.
Don't be afraid to call or email them. Ask them questions. Their staff is always happy to help guide you towards the right purchase. Visit their website, bdcosmos.com, for more. Cosmos, with rewards and raffles taking care of customers in Canada. Eh?
That's going to be it from me. I am Domovex. Let me know in the comment section down below if you are planning on picking this Flash DC Finest up, and if you are going to be getting any of the other DC Finest this month or next month. I have a lot more to cover, but until then, stay fresh, Minties.